I am live. Let's see how we do this. How we get to share this show. Let's see if I am live. Indeed. How can you see if you are live? Am I live? Am I live? Work with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time I'm attempting to go live on my channel. So let's see how I'm doing. Can't seem to find the stream. Live. It says here I am live. You are live on YouTube. And now can see this on YouTube. See if I can share the show. Yes, sir. I'm gonna get the hang of it. I'm gonna get the hang of it. Get the hang of it. Y'all work with me for a second. Yeah, I should have done this first so I can actually share the show. I'm gonna copy that link. Go to Facebook for a second. Put this link in there. Missouri. Work with me. Work with me. In a second. Getting the hang of all this stuff. Learning. Work in progress. First time I'm going live like this, so y'all work with me. I'll work with me. It should be fun. Shout out to the God Killer, the community of skeptics, and of course my home of homes, pseudo killers themselves. This feels kind of weird, actually, going live on my own channel. It absolutely feels weird. Had this channel for a while, never used it, but since I'm a pseudo killer, why not get out here and do what I do? All right, everyone. Figuring this out. Figuring this out. Get this here. Okay. I'm figuring it out, folks. Work with me. Work with me. All right. See if anybody comes in here. All right. Okay, now I can see it on my phone. I'm getting the hang of this. This ain't that easy. Not to realize that. Mm. Yes, sir. I'm gonna see if one or two people pop in here. And one person pops in here, I'm gonna have some fun. JJ, well, come show up around here, JJ. Let's have some fun. I'll drop the link in the chat as soon as I figure out how to do that. Y'all bear with me. Y'all bear with me. Let's see how this goes. Try to have some fun here. All right. Impetus for me going live. I gotta say shout out to the God Killer. He created an environment where we all grow, we learn what our strengths, what our weaknesses, and I think I need a space where I can get my ish off. I need to do it. If y'all understand what I'm saying, I'm sure you do. I don't expect much people to pop in here, but let's see. I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. Let me just play out with this stuff, see what I'm got going on here. All right.
Yeah. Welcome to Ced Talks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a myth every time. This that Ced Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Ced Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear define. They say the ancients had science. Hold up, pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when we deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through a naturalistic method. Just stand revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This got Ced Talks, yeah, he said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Ced Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win and debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that Ced Talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No hope, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
Yes. That's my little Ced Talk intro. I'm having fun, y'all. Y'all know me. Don't take it all too serious. I'm just having fun. But this information, I think it's important. And again, shout out to the God Killer. Inspiration. This man's inspiring. So inspired me to do this. I'm here. And I'm going to see what it materializes into. But I'm going to have some fun doing this. I'm going to run my track again one more time.
Welcome to Ced Talks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a myth every time. This that Ced Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy foggy claims, just evidence-based when we build these frames. Ced talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiant. They say the ancients had science. Hold up, pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through a naturalistic method. Just and revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This guy said talks, yeah, he said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Ced talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that paved the way. Not name dropping scholars to win a debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that Ced talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No hope, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
All right. And this is my test run. I'ma just hit the ground running and do what I came here to do, because I need to get my itch off. Let's go. All right. So you know what we're dealing with? We are dealing with what is science. Everybody is trying to redefine science, modern science versus ancient science, all the misuse and abuse of the terminology. Let's be honest. So I put together a series of Ced talks, which is explaining this problem and this phenomenon. And we're at the point right now where I'm just gonna go in. Probably do this later on the pseudo killers or the community of skeptics, but it's just my training ground to get my itch off, if you know what I'm saying. So without further ado, I'm gonna share my screen. The entire screen is work best. Boom, down here, get that. Do this. All right. If everything is good, you should be seeing my screen right now. Yes, I can verify. So let's go. Ced talks, the scientific method, how science actually works, from rule to reality. Last episode, we established something critical. Science is not just knowledge. Science is not just being right. Science is a method, and at its core, it's methodological naturalism. The rule that says only natural causes are allowed in explanations. But that raises a question. If methodological naturalism sets the rules, then how do we actually do science? That's where today's topic comes in. The scientific method. The scientific method is methodological naturalism in action. Before the scientific method, people weren't stupid. They observed the world. They thought deeply. They built systems of knowledge. But they had a problem. They relied on authority, institutions, philosophy. Take Aristotle, for example. For centuries, Aristotle thought that heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. It sounds reasonable, right? And for nearly 2,000 years, nobody seriously tested it. Why? Because it made sense. Because an authority said it. Because reasoning replaced testing. And this is the core issue. Logic alone does not guarantee truth. These guys were sitting around making it up. It seemed rational. But science, as we know, is counterintuitive. Everything begins to change in the early modern period. Thinkers are asking a different kind of question. Again, you're talking about a paradigm shift. I'll get more into that in later episodes. Not what sounds right, but how do we test if it's actually true? Like, sounds right. But how do we test if it's actually true? And this revelation came exactly in this period because it coincided with world travel, coming into contact with civilizations that you're not aware of, experiencing phenomena that you've never seen before. This is forcing you into a new way of looking at reality. Enter Francis Bacon. Bacon argued that knowledge should come from observation, my bad, should come from observation, experimentation, systematic testing, not tradition, not authority, and not scripture. This is a radical shift. It's the beginning of a new approach to knowledge. Don't just think, test. Now, let's define it clearly. The scientific method is a systematic way of testing ideas against reality, not a rigid checklist, not a magic formula, but a self correcting system designed to reduce error. At its core, it works like this: observe something, form an hypothesis, make predictions, test those predictions, analyze results, review or reject the idea. And most importantly, repeat the process because one test is never enough. Observation, question, hypothesis, experimentation, analysis, conclusion. You get more observations, you get new questions, you get new hypotheses, you get new experiments, new analysis, new conclusion. That helix, not a vicious circles, but that helix circles continues on and on and on. Now, here's where people get confused. They say ancient people observed things. They experimented sometimes, and that's true. But that's not the scientific method. Here's the difference. The scientific method is not just doing experiments, but a system built on principles, evidence over authority, testing over assumption, replication over anecdote, correction over certainty. This is what separates science from everything before it. Y'all think that I'm rigid in my position, but I'm not. This is a fundamental requirement. There's a hard, sharp line because the change in thought process, the approach to all that information is what created that fundamental shift, that paradigm shift that I keep talking about. Now, we add another critical layer. Enter Karl Popper. Popper said, what separates science from pseudoscience? His answer, falsifiability. A scientific claim must be testable, and more importantly, you must be able to be wrong. If there's no possible way to prove a claim false, then it's not science, no matter how convincing it sounds. Again, counterintuitive. We do not attempt to prove our position right. It puts you in a in an area where your biases can come in. You actually attempt to falsify, prove yourself wrong. You know why? Every other scientist that is going to peer review your work is going to attempt to dismantle it, tear it apart. That's the nature of being a scientist, of being skeptic. You bring it to me, my first objective is to try and see how this is wrong. I'm looking at all ways it can be wrong. And when I failed at that attempt, now I can say there is some validity to your position. Counterintuitive. The scientific method isn't just a tool, it's a safeguard against human weakness. Let me shout out to my brothers in the chat, King Sosa, Gullah, the monkey man himself, and Kickdoor Kent. Man, I appreciate you guys, man, for being there, man. That support right there means the world to me, man. Y'all know me. I'm a loyalist. I'm pseudo-killers for life. I feel kind of conflated doing this, but this is the natural evolution of the pseudo-killers, man. I appreciate you guys being here. Really, from the bottom of my heart. Thank, man. Shout out. All right, let's continue. Because humans are biased, we see patterns where there aren't. Believe things that feel right. Defend ideas that we're attached to. It's just our human nature. The scientific method forces us to confront reality. It says, don't trust your intuitions, test it. Don't protect your ideas, challenge them. Don't seek confirmation, seek correction. Now, let's bring it back to the broader debate. Did ancient civilizations have knowledge? Absolutely. Did they observe the world? Yes. Did they develop techniques? Of course. But here's the key distinction. They did not have a fully developed, systematic, self-correcting method of testing reality. That is what defines science. Not intelligence, not achievement, not being right sometimes. It's the method. It's the method. So let's bring it all together. Methodological naturalism sets the rule, only natural explanations. The scientific method applies those rules. Test everything against reality. And this is where science truly begins. Not when humans start thinking, but when they start testing, correcting, and repeating. Not all the way there yet, though. You don't get science just by looking at the world. You get science by testing the world and being willing to be wrong. That's a fundamental aspect of it, that willingness to be wrong. Without that, you don't have anything. So, in the next episode, institutional science and peer review, the final piece of modern science. All right. That was that presentation. I think that was necessary. That was necessary to do. I'm going to do it eventually on the pseudo killers again. This is just my little training ground where I can get my ideas out and and formulate these presentations in a more professional way and keeping things sharp and straight to the point. Right. In our conversation last night with Kyle, I'm realizing that people think that there's a singular linear line towards what we're talking about, and that's not true. We've touched on the Needham problem a little bit now, I have a presentation to deal with that one too, and I think it's good that after what I just presented that we address this issue with regards to how people are defining science, right? When you use the word ancient science versus modern science, you're creating a paradigm that isn't there. You're creating a paradigm that isn't there. It's not a linear progression. More data and more technology doesn't automatically lead to the scientific revolution, right? Doesn't lead to methodological naturalism. Because if it works for you in its cultural container, you don't need to go outside of that, right? Now, let me share my screen again. I think since I got the time, let me explore this idea as well. So I got a presentation already prepared. Let's get into it. All right. Science was not inevitable. The paradigm shift they missed. The paradigm shift they missed. Let's go. In our last episode, we broke down what science actually is. Not just knowledge, not just observation, not just experimentation, but a method grounded in a very specific philosophical commitment. The nature of explaining that nature is explained by natural causes. Now we take the next step. I agree, so I agree. That's why I'm just gonna teach. Boom, bam, bam. You take the information, do what you want with it. I can't do it no more. I can't do it no more. Now this presentation isn't fully prepared. I didn't work out all the kinks yet, so I'm just playing with it in this arena here. All right. Now we take the next step because there's a claim we keep hearing that ancient civilizations had science, and modern science is just the result of that knowledge improving over time. That's the tone of the argument. That's not just incorrect, it's a complete misunderstanding of how science began. That's why I'm going through the process of explaining how science came into being. Right? We are taught to think in straight lines. Ancient knowledge, more data means better theories will eventually lead to modern science. No, it sounds intuitive, but history doesn't work that way. Because if that was true, then most advanced ancient civilization with centuries of observation, engineering, and innovation should have developed modern science first, but they didn't. This is captured in what historians call the Needham question. We've been talking about it, right? The Needham question. Why did modern science arise in Europe and not in China? A civilization that had gunpowder, the compass, advanced metallurgy, detailed astronomical records. This wasn't a lack of intelligence. It wasn't a lack of data. So what was missing? By the time you see this presentation later, it's going to be much more tighter. Trust me. I'm just working on it, Shall I just put this together today. So it's not even finished. Here's where the conversation goes wrong. People describe ancient knowledge as early science, proto science, primitive science, as if they were trying to become modern science. And just didn't get there. So you're saying those are failed attempts at modern science. What's up, my brother Ghouls? Again, as if they were trying to become modern science and just didn't get there. That's a mistake. They were perfectly fine within their systems. They weren't failed versions of science. I keep saying that. I don't know in which more way to accurately frame this conversation. Again, they weren't failed versions of science. They were different epistemologies. What is epistemology? How you know what you know. Different ways of understanding reality. In ancient systems, knowledge was grounded in authority, tradition, philosophical coherence. Think about the figures like Aristotle. I'm going to continue to use this one example of Aristotle throughout my presentations. For nearly 2,000 years, his ideas shaped how people understood the world, not because they were tested, but because they were trusted. Nature wasn't something you that's something you interrogated. It was something you interpreted through inherited frameworks. You see, I'm playing with my presentation here. Go back, back. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Oh, 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 man. Yeah, I need to finish this. Get it ready. Boom, 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 boom. No. So here's a critical point. More data does not break a framework, right? It gets observed in it. Yeah. Doom, doom, doom. Yeah, 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 yeah. Should I finish my stuff out? I know. So let me do it like this just for now. 'Cause we're right here talking about this. Let me get it. I need to get this in. So they get absorbed into explained away, reinterpreted, harmonized. That's what a stable knowledge system do. The Egyptians, remember, right? Their practice was you better write it correctly, right? If you had a new idea, it was synthesized into the particular scribal system, right? So no matter how much empirical observations you accumulated, if your philosophical foundation stayed intact, science does not emerge. This is what the Needham problem is explaining to us, right? Something changed. The age of discovery, the age of discovery of the Americas didn't just add new information. It introduced they introduced information that didn't fit. Remember, if there was something like another side of the world, people obviously would be walking upside down. They had no idea. If your authority could not explain the new phenomena that you were encountering, your authority lost its power. Once authority lost its power, once people said, but yo, Aristotle is clueless. He doesn't, we cannot find any explanation to fit the phenomena we are observing now. Lands no ancient authority described. Species, no classical system accounted for. People outside inherited worldviews. For the first time, reality stopped matching the books. Confusion at this point. Wait a minute. Aristotle didn't know? No, he didn't know. He was making it up. When that authority loses its power, right, you get this. It created something rare, an epistemic crisis. Not just we need more knowledge, but wait a minute. Our entire way of understanding knowledge might be wrong. That changes everything. That paradigm shift. Paradigm shift. So let's be clear. Ancient civilizations had knowledge, they had technique, they had innovation, but they did not have science, folks. Because science is not defined by what they know. It's defined by how you justify what you know. That's why I use a simple term, methodological naturalism, because it encompasses everything, the philosophical foundation. Out of that comes the scientific method. When that is established, you get peer review and the institutionalization of this method. It's a world method because it's universal. It's not European science. It is called Western science because of that prestige thing, right? Because other cultures can practice their cultural practices alongside modern or Western science. Chinese still do acupuncture and practice traditional herbal remedies alongside modern science. So you need some way to distinguish it. You call it modern or Western science. However, it is science. So the next time someone says ancient people had science too, just an earlier version, understand what's being missed. Science was not inevitable. It did not emerge because we gathered enough facts. It emerged because we stopped trusting old ways of explaining them. That's the fundamental thing right here. Without a break in authority, without a shift in philosophy, without a new standard for truth, science doesn't evolve. It doesn't appear. It simply never begins. Kayel was making that fundamental error in his argumentation last night. And I keep hearing it. He's talking about modern science, in a context as if the ancients had a primitive science, and eventually, over time, they would have gotten there because of Europeans. They did no. That's not the reality. The reality is simply that the authority fell away. The discovery of the new world challenged the authority of the systems that existed. The Aristotles, the Teleoses, all these individuals, their philosophical natural philosophy, which determined the way things were for over 2,000 years, fell away. It fell away. It had no more value. Now you're forced into a position to look at things from a different perspective. Add that to the fact that all the technology you're encountering came with its cultural baggage that you had no use for, because that cultural baggage is specific to that environment. And being specific to that environment makes that it's not universally applicable. You needed to strip away the cultural containers to get to the actual reality of the matter. Natural causes, natural agent, methodological naturalism. It's not so hard. Conversation is really not so hard. Yet it seems to be confusing people over and over and over. I thank my Psuedokilla family for jumping in the chat. I appreciate you guys so much. And I'm just getting the hang of this stuff, right? So bear with me. I'm gonna try and drop the link and see if I can do that. Copy here, over here, paste. Is that the link? Did I drop the link? Yeah, I think I dropped the link. So yes, so this is going to be my little training ground where I put these presentations together, play with my ideas and my thoughts a bit before we get on the big stage, right? And rock out as pseudo killers, right? And yeah, I think this feels good. Get my little spiel off, get it out the way and when you share platforms, I need to develop that discipline. You need to sit and hear people out because it's conversation you're having. Uh, I'm not too good with that. I hear where you're going wrong, and I need to get it in. So maybe this environment, create a more, I could be more relaxed and more chill to the stage. King Sosa, appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, 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 man. I saw you went live. Let me pull up to you, man. Said they're gonna lose, God dang. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. I go to sleep with these things working on my mind. Like, what? I see where the break in the understanding is, but I'm trying to figure better ways of communicating it, right? So the need and problem clearly illustrates it. Says, whoa, slow down. You cannot watch these other cultures as if they're failed attempts at modern science.
Yeah, yeah. That's what that dude Reggie brought was saying the same thing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
they're not. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, and that's what was frustrating last night because because Chris operating from the same paradigm.
yeah,
They had science, they just didn't have modern science.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And
we're
when you
right back,
understand it, yeah,
we're right
right
back
there.
at ground zero. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
right back at ground zero. It's frustrating because again, you're doing, and we hear it, right? You're saying they didn't get there yet. No, they weren't attempting to get there. There's no there for them to get within their within their cultural container. This is their knowledge system, and it worked perfectly fine. The Chinese had no impetus to develop modern science, right? Because their knowledge system worked perfectly fine.
right, right, right. And even if you give ancient Egypt the tools, right, the philosophical framework will still have to change.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fundamentally, you do
Fundamentally.
not get to where we are without that philosophical framework, right? It is a different way. Like again, if the natures in Egypt are everything, everything stems from the natures. Everything revolves around the natures. Now you have to implement a system where the natures are not even accounted for within that culture. That's an impossibility.
Right, right. Too steep with tradition.
Yeah, yeah. Huh? The gods don't play a role, right? So within that framework that they have, that wouldn't be applicable. You need to step away from that framework. You need to understand natural cause and natural agency. And yes, saying the natures are nature, but they are anthropomorphized. You're giving them purpose or intent, agency. So still, you're not within the right philosophical framework.
Right, right. And that's why it was more able for Greece to do it because they don't have the shackles
Yep.
that ancient Egypt and other ancient societies had. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? That's part of the need hand question, understanding why it blossomed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why? Like, yeah, because their system worked perfectly fine. You're
And it's gone.
isolated. You're isolated within your culture. It's working fine. So empiricism is something you consistently engage in, but your philosophical framework is harmony with nature, is the chi that flows through everything. Your philosophical framework is not getting you there. And I think the missing component that people need to understand. That's when I talk about a paradigm shift. It's a different way of thinking.
Yeah, but at this point, I think I think they can't understand. I don't know. I don't know how many different ways you could say it. You end up right back at the same position. You know what I mean? They end
Yeah,
up right back at the same position.
right back. Like, that's frustrating, bro. Like Chris did it, KL did it, and I'm hearing KL big size. No, you're putting these verbs or adjectives in front of science as if you're changing something. You're just describing the modern way of application. If I say metadata analysis, that's within the framework of modern science, right? Because now what we're doing, we're refining falsifiability and we're improving peer review by means of being able to process huge amounts of data, right? The scientists continue to do their work in the lab. The statisticians are developing these computer models and programs to be able to do this work.
Yeah, I didn't even see the Aristotle piece before. That was crazy because you got to think like clearly he didn't test it. He
No,
just reasoned it, and the fact that
yeah,
nobody thought for 2,000 years to just take a seed in a gold bar and just raise it up above their head and drop it at the same time and see if it actually was true.
no one,
Nobody did that.
no one.
Or the person that did it was clown or something. Because I can't even understand how that lasted that long. It's crazy.
Authoritative,
That's
right?
crazy.
The gods, because you come from an environment where the gods are the authority, and these people are describing the way the gods do it, right? First of all, it is the elites, those that with the most affluency, right? Those are the ones that engage in this thing, right? So it's a hierarchical. Aristotle, he from the school, he said it. These are the great wise men, and over time that becomes tradition, and no one challenges it because it's tradition, right? Until you're forced to go. Wait a minute, where in Aristotle book can I find a description for this particular phenomenon? This yellow thing that is growing from a tree that's not a tree, that has funny like banana. You can imagine that there's no description of banana trees. That doesn't exist within that paradigm. Now Aristotle, his authority and the authority of that generation is becomes null and void. Once you're no scared of the authority no more, now your thinking breaks away. I
Yeah.
see Mel in the chat. Peace, Mel.
That was a good. That was a good point. I was like, I didn't even see that, but that's great.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, what up, man?
man, like 2,000 years. I didn't realize it was 2,000 years though.
Yeah, because that could have simply been defeated, or he himself to say, you know what? If that makes sense, let me just take something heavy and something light, drop at the same time, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
He would have figured that out. That was incorrect.
early.
Yeah, he just said it, thought it made sense logically. In a way, you would think it makes sense. I remember being a kid in school when they teaching that. Used to be like, what drops faster? Um, 5 pound pillow or 5 pound weight set.
Yeah. You
You know
remember
what I'm
that
saying?
question, right? Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you did
yeah,
it with the feathers, right? So
yeah. The
now you
feathers.
close your eyes and you seeing 5 pounds of feathers. It's like that's a dump truck worth.
Right. Yeah. Drop at
Yeah,
the
so
same rate.
it's a mass.
Yeah,
It's a mass, and of course, the rate of acceleration is gravity. So,
yeah.
so right there, you see, no one is challenging it because these paradigms don't exist at that point in time.
Don't allow for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you accept that for so long because it seems rational, right? Until the dude say, wait a minute, no, wait a minute. If I drop a little pebble, it's gonna sink to the bottom. And I could take a log that takes 4 men to lift, and it still floats. What the hell's going on here?
Right. Right.
Like, like, but until the authority was challenged, no one dared speak up, right? Because wait a minute, how does that make sense? Though you're not trying to figure out buoyancy, and the dude that was thinking about that, they just said, "Listen, boy, the wood floats. We need boats. Shut up."
Right.
Oh yeah,
Right.
the rock sinks. Okay, tie it on to the boat, and we can use it to anchor the boat. Boom, good. Now we got a functional use of the heavy rock that sinks. That's it. No one trying to figure it out. It's functional.
Right.
Until you get a
We
paradigm.
just know it's better not to use a rock. That's good enough.
Yeah, we definitely ain't using the rock to build a boat. Like, Yeah, but it's I'm still trying to figure out this phenomena. This is crazy though. I could have never expected that we would have been where we were last night based on this subject. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
man. The fact that it keeps lingering is like it's even more crazy. Feel
Big
like we ain't
science.
gained no ground. We ain't gained no ground.
Yeah,
Certain
big.
people still at the same place they were 2 weeks ago. It's crazy.
Yeah. How can
Yeah.
you still be stuck there, bro? Like
They
I
think they think
base.
they can find a better way to explain the same thing and it's gonna make more sense. You know
But
what I'm saying?
there is no better way. It simply is what it is, and you're trying to explain away your emotions at this point.
Right,
Yeah, because
right. And that's the
it can't
same
be.
argument. We're using modern criteria to judge ancient civilization.
Yeah,
Same
presentism.
argument. Same argument. You know,
Yeah,
so
they're accusing us of presentism when that's the whole entire structure of their argument. They were doing ancient science mean they just didn't reach to modern science yet. No, they
yeah,
weren't attempting to. They're not a failed attempts. Y'all are presenting these cultures in disrespecting them by presenting them as if they're failed attempts at modern science. They didn't just get. They weren't there yet.
yeah. They had modern science. They had a different kind of science.
Yeah,
Yeah, different
they're
science.
they're different science. Their knowledge system was completely different.
Yeah, their own kind of science. I mean, all type of shit, reframing just they had their
Wow.
own kind of science, their own science.
Yeah, well, no, they had their own knowledge system. Science is this knowledge system. We're comparing knowledge systems. Then you can't take the word science and retrofit it all over the place, especially in the context of a conversation like this, or do the flim flam, modern versus ancient. No, no, you're framing that incorrectly. Like, Reggie had a problem when I said the paradigm shift required. No, 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 that's not true. And I didn't foresee where that whole sentiment was rooted. But it, this is wow. I'm ready. This conversation is it's not going to be 3 years like the Black Egypt conversation because I'm already over it. I'm already really over this conversation. It gives me a opportunity to teach a little bit, but I'm like at the same time I'm like, why are we having first year college course argumentation? This is first year, first semester. You go through the philosophy of science, you get all of this, you understand what you're doing, and you keep it moving.
Well, of course, Eddie, that because they're Eurocentric at the college, so you already know what I'm saying. So shit,
Oh boy. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
And we're seeing now where the rubber meets the road. There are still elements in this community that think that that their critique has value in an academic setting, as if they are challenging the historical narrative or the actual scholars or the consensus by making the arguments they're making on YouTube. I didn't think that that's what we're here to do, though. That's still an underlying sentiment in the community. We can change or challenge the consensus from YouTube. Chef, you're gonna use the documentation in front of you, read it, and want to retrofit or do some post hoc rationalization on the work that you're reading. No, that's not how it's done. You need to then go in the field, go do the actual work, and see if you can produce something that's not been addressed at this point in time. And I keep saying, during that debate, Rauschberg and a lot of the modern historians are moving away from viewing ancient cultures as if their practices were primitive or that divination was somehow spookism, right? When you frame these conversations like that, that's where you get this presentism. You need to look at their systems of knowledge holistically. Why? It was successful, it was reproducible, it built their societies, and it governed their systems for thousands of years. So, how do we determine them being primitive or spooked out or whatever? That's not the context in which you look at it. You have to look at it as a separate and its own knowledge system holistically.
Yeah, I like that, and I like that angle.
Yeah, I like that too. I like that too. Because if you read like Arthur Neurenbauer's work, and so the old scholars, they're very dismissive of anything that doesn't fit the strict scientific paradigm, right? So they have this exclusionary or um, inferior way of a dismissive approach to particular aspects of ancient knowledge. But this is all outdated work. Modern historians, right, and modern anthropologists do not view cultural systems in a comparative way. So they do not need or require a backdrop of modern science to make an analysis of Babylonian culture or Babylonian knowledge. They don't need a modern science backdrop to examine Egyptian cosmology, right? That is done holistically on its own and taken into account what these people needed and what they apply these systems for, right? Because necessity creates technology. Right? So yeah, they accuse the pseudo killers of presentism, but y'all are the one who actually doing it. It's not pseudo killers.
Yeah, yeah, and I think they thinking like, if they were trying to have that break, it would look like Greece. It would be conflict
Mhm.
and turmoil at first.
Yeah.
Mhm. So but good show, man. I just want to pull up real quick.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Now, this is what I want to do over here. Just my little sparring ground, my little training ground, set up my presentations, so that by the time I hit the big stage with the pseudo killers and community of skeptics, all the kinks are worked out. We can chop it up a little bit so the presentations can get a little bit more professional. Now, I like working on these presentations and stuff. I need a little training ground before you get on the big stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
Give
bro.
me a little space, I get it off. Man, thanks for chopping on.
No
Right?
problem.
Yeah, man. Let me just do my little outro, play my little Ced Talk music, and I'm out of here. This has been fun. Thanks also for popping in.
Yeah. Welcome to Ced Talks, where we separate fact from fiction. Mess it up a myth every time. This that Ced Talk, yeah, we set it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence-based when we build these frames. Ced Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defined. They say the ancients had science. Hold up. Pause. Knowledge ain't the same as methodological laws. Observation, yeah, but control tests rare. No predictive models, you gotta be fair. We respect the past, but we keep it exact. Precision matters when you deal with facts. Astronomy grew, astrology split. One stayed empirical, one lean myth. The shift came through naturalistic method. Just and revised, that's how we embed it. Not culture bound, not tied to a place. It's a universal tool for the human race. This got Ced Talks, yeah, you said it straight. Cut through the noise, elevate the debate. No pseudo talk, no foggy claims. Just evidence based when we build these frames. Ced Talks, yeah, clarity first. If it ain't got method, it probably won't work. From ancient knowledge to modern science, we draw that line, that clear defiance. They blur definitions, start moving the goalposts. Turn fried to a claim that don't hold close. Science ain't on, this a process refined. Independent of culture, space and time. You can't redefine it to fit identity. That's how you lose all epistemic integrity. We test every claim understand, we don't just believe. If it can't be verified, we don't receive. From early observers to labs today, it's rigor and doubt that pave the way. Not name dropping scholars to win and debate, but data and method that validate. So what's your ideology? That's cool to ask, but truth ain't decided by the loudest class. We question it all, no sacred ground. If it don't hold up, we break it down. This that Ced Talk, yeah, we live in direct. No fear in the facts, just intellectual respect. No hope, no mirror, no fantasy, just truth, logic, and consistency.
Man, thank y'all for tuning in. I'll be back with another presentation. This is my training ground, Psuedokilla official Cedric Ortega, gone live for the first time, and we'll be doing this again. Thank y'all for tuning in, and see y'all probably later on the Community of Skeptics or the God Killer. Thanks, Mel. We out.